Greetings, Terrarians, Khaios here. Welcome back to Project Ghost. Last time, when we left off, I had just built some bramble pits, and I prepped another pit for a rope bridge parkour. Since then, off screen, I updated the decoration a little bit. I added a couple of new trees on the other sides of the bramble pits. I also did the wall texture for the pit where the rope bridge will be, though I haven't added the rope bridge. At the bottom of this pit and the other pit as well, I added some spiky brambles just in case players manage to survive the fall. They can have a way to kill themselves, just so they're not actually trapped down there. And both of these have them. In addition to that, I also built one more leaf-covered bramble pit right here. And as you can see here, a massive custom living tree. Now, I will get to the living tree later. It does have a purpose for the course. But for now, I want to go ahead and get started on the rope bridge. So normally, when it comes to the rope bridge, I'd actually use vine rope painted brown and just do a nice looking rope bridge with that. But since this is also a parkour map, I really don't want players to be able to just grab onto the rope and just, kind of pull their way across. I want them to have to worry about the pitfalls and everything that's going to be there. So instead of using that vine rope, I'm thinking that I'm going to use this living mahogany wand. It's a rope substitute that I've used in the past. I used it in Harbinger for the drawbridge on the holodeck. And I think it looks pretty decent as a rope. And when it's actuated, obviously you won't be able to walk on it and you won't be able to grapple to it. So I'll just go ahead and turn on the actuation device. And I'll just start laying out the shape of the bridge. And something I think is important to note when it comes to making rope bridges is it's almost impossible physically to get a weighted rope completely taut, so it won't be a straight line. I see a lot of people make rope bridges in Terraria, and oftentimes they are just completely flat and straight all the way across. And while obviously it's completely up to the builder to do whatever they want, I prefer to have a little dip in mine. I think it looks a little more natural, and I think it's just a little more appealing to the eyes. I'll just throw a little dip in there. I might actually just extend the dip out a little bit like this. Just tweak it until I think it looks good. Okay, so I have the rope handle for the bridge here. And I think I'm going to go with probably Dynasty platforms for the segments that you'll be walking on. Perhaps about here. also considering not using platforms at all. On one hand, I do like the fact that you could just fall down via mistake. You obviously don't want to make a mistake like that on the playthrough, but on the other hand, when you have platforms that are offset like this, you don't walk up them naturally like you do with blocks. You need to have a little stair shape to them like this, and I'm not sure if that's what I want for the rope bridge or not. I'll go ahead and make it with the platforms like this for now and decide if I like it this way. And I realized that I forgot to turn off my actuation tool. So I'm just going to get rid of these actuators real quick. Okay, so that's not too bad looking. I want to make sure that it looks like it's connected. So let's see, what should I use? Let's just go with some more ebonwood fence and see how that looks for now. And we'll just do one tile apart. And whenever it comes to things that are ruined, for me, usually, I know I didn't do it with the beginning area, but usually when I make something that's tattered or ruined, I prefer to build it intact first. Maybe not very detailed, but the general shape and structure intact, and then I will destroy segments of it, so it looks a little more realistic as ruins. I kind of just winged it on this first structure and it turned out alright because I kind of knew what I wanted to do. But I wanted to build this bridge completely intact first, and then I will knock out segments for the parkour. It's a pretty reasonable jump from this side. I might actually make it a little harder. Knock that out. And just to make it look like it's falling apart, I'll just slope these bits here so that it's kind of sloping down in a way that it wouldn't be if it were fixed. Maybe get rid of that. It's still a fairly simple jump. I don't want the parkour to be too easy or too difficult, so I'll just experiment around with it till I'm happy with it. It is the first course, and the courses will be ranked in the minigame map, so the first course is intended to be easier. So I'm just going to put a hole here that's kind of just to trip players up that aren't paying attention. It's obviously not a hard jump at all, but if you're looking at the center here like, oh, I need to get through that, and you're not paying attention here, you could just walk off and fall to your death. I think I might do something similar right here. Make it like this at the end. Just a little bit of a subtle gap that you'll fall through if you're not careful. Like that. And make sure you can fall through here. Okay, you don't, so I need to adjust that a bit. I'll knock that out. There we go. Now you can fall through. A little bit of lag there. Let's see. Trying to decide if I want to enhance the way this looks in any way. Maybe a little bit. I'm gonna try... Let's see. I'll grab this living wood platform and actuators. I'm just gonna see what it looks like if I make an inside railing a little bit like this. Maybe not. That makes it a little too difficult to see what's going on. And that's kind of my rule number one when it comes to building. If I have an idea, I always try it out once just to see how it goes. I might tweak it just to see how it goes a little bit further. But I don't know if I'm going to dislike something unless I try it. So always experiment. It's never a bad thing in my book. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to this giant custom living tree that I have built earlier. And this is going to be a climbing parkour through the center of the tree up to this branch up here. So what I'm going to do is just kind of dig my way through. I'll probably use that drill containment unit. Something to note that I'm thinking about, since I am on a T-Shock server right now, is when you use this drill containment unit on a server, a multiplayer server, when you log out of the world and log back in, you'll see how all of these edges are sloped whenever I mine with this containment unit. When you log back in, for some reason, I think it's a bug, but perhaps it's not. It could just be the way that servers save data, but these slopes will no longer be sloped. This is a bit more of a pixel perfect jump, and I'm not sure if I actually want to have that in. They are useful, but sometimes they could just be frustrating, especially in a multiplayer setting. So I'll leave it in here for now, and I'll think about if I want to have that pixel perfect jump in there or not. I could possibly just knock that block out to make it easier. And it does. Sorry about the lag issues. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Let's see if I can give this a fix. Let's see how that goes. So now I'm just going to work on shaping the inside of this tree. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna grab some living leaf wall with some brown paint, and I'm just going to lay it on the inside of this tree. I would use living wood wall, but I'm not a huge fan of the texture, to be honest. There's nothing wrong with the wood part itself, but there are these straight, dark, vertical lines whenever you place it. I'll just go ahead and show you so it's easier to see. So if I just place a clump of it down here, it looks good. But when you have a large chunk of it, particularly on the inside of a living tree, like what I'm doing right now, you see these vertical lines where the pattern repeats itself. It's painfully obvious. The more you use and the bigger the tree is on the inside, it's just straight up these lines, and they're distracting. I'm not a huge fan of them. And I found that living leaf wall painted brown looks pretty decent as a replacement. I would honestly like this texture more if it weren't for these dark vertical bits. But I will go ahead and just use the living leaf wall as a replacement. It's just personal preference. And I'm not particularly a fan of where these unpainted and painted living leaf walls are intersecting. So I'll just break out this leaf bit, the leaf bit here, and just kind of add in some of this wood looking one. And now just touch up the texture inside here a little bit more until I'm happy with the way it looks, and then I'll get back to you. That's looking pretty good to me. Now the players will have a means to parkour up the tree, but to what end, you might be wondering? Well, sorry, I'm just always detailing, always detailing. At the end of this branch, I'm going to have a short jump, probably about to here. Maybe not on a slope. For some reason, jumping off of a slope while you're running forward is notoriously difficult. So let's flatten that out. Alright, that's a lot better now. And I think the reason for that is because whenever you're moving at an angle down a slope, you're technically falling. Okay, so I'm going to bring this out a little bit more. Oops. There we go. And I am going to build a cliff face here, and the course will just pick up here later. So I'm going to work on this cliff face, and then I'll get back to you when I'm done. And there's the cliff done. So I will pick up with the rest of the map in another episode. I might do some more work off camera a bit. I'll be sure to record anything of interest, in my opinion. So we have the giant living tree. We have several bramble death pits. And a parkour bridge. And a parkour rocky cliff start. So thus far the course is making some pretty good progress. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this series. If you are, be sure to leave a comment or like the video. If you'd like to see more content from me, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Happy building.